this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up! Card videos, please click that subscribe button and the little bell, and you'll be notified when my videos release. Anyway, now let's go make a card. Hello everyone! So today I'm actually going to be doing a complete tutorial on how to put together the Daffodil Daydream. It is the new stamp set from the January to June 2022 mini catalog. And don't forget, celebration will be going on January 4th to February 28th of 2022. So this is in the brand new catalog. If you need a catalog and you want to place orders for stuff, go ahead and email me. My email's right here on the bottom of the screen, so you know how to find me. Also, everything that I'm doing the video here on will be in the description of my video. And if you go to joyofcards.com, I'll show you snapshots of everything that you're going to see here in a moment. So all the information is there. So let's start out with the stamp set. And whenever I get a new stamp set, I like to go ahead and stamp everything out. First of all, these are the cling stamps. And the cling stamps, these orange ones, don't necessarily require a Stampin' pad. And a Stampin' pad looks like this. This is a Stampin' pad, and that's normally just for the clear stamps, which are called the photopolymer stamps. But these are the cling stamps. Now, every once in a while, you'll get the cling stamp that doesn't stamp all that well, and I'll go ahead and use a Stampin' pad. But for the most part, you shouldn't need it. And I did test them out prior, and they stamp fine. So that is good to go on that. The other thing you're going to notice is that this stamp set, only 3 of the 24 Daffodil Daydream dies actually have a die that goes with it. And when you stamp it out just like this, this is the 3 that have the die. They look like that. And it's these 3 dies right here. Now on the butterfly, there's actually 2 butterfly dies. There's one like this, and there's one like this with the detail in it. So the large butterfly only has a die, so it will look like that. Also, I want to point out that when I get my dies, I get one of these magnet sheets, and I put all my dies out there. And as I'm cutting my dies, I put this next to my die cutter and put the die back on the magnet sheet, so I'm not losing them, because there's lots of little dies in this set, and they're 24. And then I take the magnetic sheet, and here is the folder it came in. I make sure that this is facing the back. I put some packing tape over the flap, and this is open, and I label it here, and I put the magnet sheet in the pouch so everything stays together. Now let's talk about how do we color the flowers, because there's not a lot of coloring, just the flowers and the butterfly. So I did 3 examples. Here's the first one. This one I used colored pencils and a blending pen. If you don't have a blending pen, this is a must with colored pencils. And what it'll do is, as you're doing the colored pencils, it'll smooth it out and blend it in really well. So the colors I used here, for the butterfly, I used Rich Razzleberry and Gorgeous Grape. And then on the stems here, I used Old Olive. And the petals, because there's on a daffodil is actually called a narcissus. Not narcissus, but narcissus. And that's its technical name. There are like 13,000 types of daffodils. And the outer layer here are called the petals, and the center is called the corona or the cup. And the inside little doohickeys there, those are the stamens. So with the petals, I colored these in Daffodil Delight, and then the cup I did in Flirty Flamingo with a little melon mambo. And I kind of kept all these colors kind of the same, but with the colored pencils, they don't have a poppy parade, which I'll show you in a minute. But with colored pencils, if there's not like a lighter or darker, all you can do is just, you know, when you're coloring them in, color them light, and then in areas where like you want some shading, just color it a little darker, and of course use the blending pen to blend it all together. So that's number one. The second coloring, I use the watercoloring technique, and that's when you get out the cartridge or the Stampin' pad and just use a water blender like one of these. Now this is a 3-pack, and inside the 3-pack there's this really fine one, and you can just fill it with water. You can also fill these with alcohol, anything you want really, and you can just take off the Stampin' pad like this, or you can put some of it in the lid and water it down and do some watercoloring. So with this one, I used, for the butterfly, I used Gorgeous Grape and Fresh Frieza. And then for the stems here, I used Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreen. And for the leaves, I used Daffodil Delight. And for the bulbs or the cups, I used Poppy Parade. So that's the second one. The third one is actually my favorite, and this is with the Stampin' Blends. And with the butterfly, I used Coral Calypso, the light and dark. For the stems, I used Soft Succulent, light and dark. With the petals, I used Daffodil Delight, light and dark. And for the cups, I used Poppy Parade and light and dark. I also left a little piece of it blank in there, so it like gives a faux kind of reflection. So I think out of the three, I really like the Stampin' Blends the best. And believe it or not, I am doing a card, and the card will be on the next video, and I'm going to be using the Stampin' Blends for part of the card. I'm going to be doing a couple of really cool techniques. I'm going to be using a painting technique. I'm going to be doing the blending, of course, and I'm going to be doing a pop-up all in one card. So if you subscribe right now and click that little bell, as soon as I put that video up, you'll be notified and you can watch that video. Now this video is going up December 12th is 2021, and the video with the card is going up December 16th, 2021. But I'll show you a little card I made in between just to tease you with a card. This isn't the one I'm going to do. It's this one right here, and I took this technique. I bumped these up on, these aren't dimensionals, these are the foam adhesive strips. I use Mango Melody, and I actually used Mango Melody in the leaves here, so it's not the Daffodil Delight. And then I used a 3D embossing folder called Paint and Textures, which is my most favorite embossing folder. In fact, when they retire that, which will probably be in the next catalog because it's been out for a little bit, I'm going to keep it. And I don't keep anything. I'm a YouTuber. I don't do a lot of card classes. I really rely on videos. So please like and subscribe. That helps me out. But so I did that technique, and then I just made it plain on the inside. And a lot of my cards, I haven't been putting sentiments inside. If you pre-make card, in fact, if you're a demonstrator, and I have lots of demonstrator subscribers, hello demonstrators, I leave them blank, because every time you go to get a card, if you're going for a thank you card or whatever, sometimes the sentiment inside kind of kills it to give it to that particular person. So that's what I did. So here's kind of a card I did just doing that. But the really cool card is the next video. So like and subscribe and hit that little bell. So that's how I did the coloring for the flowers and the butterfly. Now let's talk about these 24 dies. Wow, it can be a little overwhelming. And so what we've got here is I cut all these dies out. So another time when you get a die set where there's just a lot, it's a good idea to just cut them out on something like white, or maybe a cardstock you have a lot of that you don't use. But cut them all out and actually physically take a look at them. And so what we've got here is, let's start with these stems. They were really smart, and they gave us 2 each of a stem going each direction. I don't know how many times I cut out a die and it's like, I kind of want it to go the other direction. So they gave us these options of the other directions, plus you can gather them together and get kind of a really cool bouquet look. And I wanted to also show you something that I did with these stems. So there are options to do this. And I've got some here, and here like a grouping of stems. And I just cut these in cardstock. This is Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. And when you mix up those colors, it kind of looks neat. So there's one option. Another option for these stems is to do your own custom background, which I do a lot. And what I did is I took, this is actually basic white. Now I should have used shimmer white because it just looks so much more pretty when you're blending. So I would take a shimmer white, and this one I used Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. I used the blending brushes and I blended everything out and I got this color. Now I can make this look darker with more Evening Evergreen, or I can go into Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. That would have worked well as well. So you can do cardstock and you can make your own, and you can use DS paper. And there's a couple of DS papers now that are in the annual catalog, so they're not going anywhere for a while. And one is Beauty of the Earth. Now, I cut all them in two different greens from Beauty of the Earth. This one's kind of a speckly and this one's kind of a darker one. And I really like this one. In fact, the card that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using this one here. So there's two in Beauty of the Earth. And there's also one in your peach, which is a lighter one. So there's options of doing your stems. The next ones I cut are from the flower, which I showed you before, and the butterfly. The big one is for the butterfly with the stamp. They also give you a smaller butterfly. And then these right here we'll get to in a second. And these I actually had to call Stampin' Up! And say, what the heck is this? Because it looked like it was the stamens for the flower, but not really. This looked like a clock hand, and this looked like an artsy little splotch of something whatnot. But it's actually the stamens, and I'll show you how those go together in a second. The next one, these are all layering. In fact, this one's a layering too. And this one is like a closed bulb. And I made you a little diagram here. So the base plus the layer, and it'll look like that. Okay, the next one is this petal, and it's this base, this layer will make this. Now the next one looks a little funky. This is not a leaf. This is also part of a petal. So you take the, whoopsie, upside down, you take the base plus the layer, and that looks like that. And I will show you another one here in a moment, and I'll show you how they all go together. Now, the next ones, these right here. Okay, this is a part that every once in a while Stampin' Up! Will throw something at you, and it's like, what? These die cuts are actually duplicates. They give you two of this one and two of that one. Two of this one and two of that one. They are exactly the same. And so you don't have to fiddle around. It's like, are they the same or are they different? They are the same. And they do that because you're doing a lot of flowers, because there's, 4 stems here and you're going to possibly put together a bouquet. So they gave you the option of cutting them all at once. So these are absolutely the same. So don't let it mess you up. But the first one is you take the base and the middle part, and they look like that. And then for the cup, it's the base, the layer, and they look like that. Now, how do they all go together? So you take these, which is this card here, okay? Take 2 of those plus a cup, which is this one, and it makes this flower. Now, for the other flower that ends up looking like that, you take this side petal, which is this one here, and then you take the other petal, which is this one, these 3 together, which is that, and a cup, which is this one, and you make this flower here. So this actually goes on the bottom, and this goes over it. I don't know if you can tell it here. So that long weird one's on the bottom, and you just layer it up like so. And then for the bulb that isn't open, you've got the ones that we have here, And this is the closed bulb. So this is this. And here's the stem, and they look like that. So you put this little piece under the stem here. Now back to this little stamen is what they're called. And so this is what, when I called Stampin' Up, that's what they said it is. And it's this little stamen in the middle of a daffodil. So you take the little splotchy thing plus the clock arm and you layer it like that. And then it's like, well, where do you put it? Because it really doesn't fit in the cup. It just kind of didn't look like it went inside there. So I'm about to show you how the little splotchy thing fits into a petal. And I'm going to show you this anyway, but I do want to let you know it's actually supposed to go in the cup. So you got your base, your layer, and then I kind of put it inside the cup. And you know, you probably can put maybe 2 of these little clock handle things, but this is actually what it's supposed to look like. But I kind of did like how this went together, and I'll show you this right now. What I figured out is that it's got to be like this. So you take this flower, which is the combination of these two, plus the little splotch clock arm, and you make this little flower. So this is cute. And if you want close-up pictures, these are all going to be on my website. So go to joyofcards.com, which you can see all my cards in one place. And like and subscribe there too. I'd love to see you. And demonstrators, welcome. Plagiarize all you want. That's what I'm there for. And I do give away demo cards, even in a video where I don't really make a card like this one. I'm actually giving away this card here. So if you are a first-time subscriber, subscribe, and I'll mail you this one out for free. And you can be a demonstrator. I don't care who does it. And then on the it also works, this little stamen thing, on this flower as well. And this is the one that looks like this combination. So you take this plus the little splotchy little clock arm, and it looks like that. So that is how you put the Daffodil Daydream together. Now, like I said, the next video, which will go up on December 16th, 2021, you can see this really, really cool card. I'm going to do a couple of awesome techniques. Don't miss it. Like, subscribe, click that little bell so you get notified when that video goes up. And that will do it for me. Thanks a lot. Bye.